Hello everyone, this is Strawberry Shorty here with a recap and review of Wednesday Chapter 6, Quid Pro Woe. And I totally forgot to mention it last episode, but the sheriff did tell Wednesday the results of the test on Xander's rag and the claw. And one was not a match and the other was inconclusive. Does anyone actually believe that Xavier is the monster? Did I say Xavier or Tyler? I might have said Tyler by accident. But yeah. So, we kick things off with Wednesday holding a seance in her room, and all I can think is that this is a huge fire hazard, because she has like about 20,000 candles around her on this old wooden floor. I'm also not sure why she didn't try to do a seance earlier. Like, she's trying to communicate with Goody, but it's like, why not try and like seance like one of the victims or something, like someone to try and get information from them. But, and all the candles go out, and it's really creepy, and someone shows up at the door, but it's just Enid. And it's like, oh my gosh, is Enid dead? Well, no, she is not. And she is... I put Eddie's still alive. I think I might have put A's... Ugh, I'm gonna misspell... Did I misspell Enid? I put Edie. I think I've been reviewing the Santa Clauses too much. Oh yeah, I think something happened that I was surprised, like, kept her alive. I don't remember what it was. Well, whatever. She also mentions that she has a snake aromatic candle, which she thinks they should use to lure Goody. I want to know if snake candles really exist. A letter comes from under the door, made with magazine cutout letters, but, like, not real ones, like ones that look totally fake. Like, I've never actually seen letters like that in magazines. And it is luring Wednesday to Crackstone's crypt, and she's totally gonna go, which is stupid. Like, how this girl has not gotten herself killed. Like, if she wasn't an Addams, she would be dead by now. Her and Enid both go, and again, stupid, because you should have told someone. Enid stays behind because she wants to be the lookout, mostly because she's too scared to go in. But, like, really that's the smart thing, because someone could try to attack her or seal her in, so, And Wednesday, kind of, as she's exploring the crypt, she kind of sensed that someone is in there, and she asks if it's Enid, and she actually sounds scared. I'm not sure why she thinks it would be Enid, because, like, if Enid had actually come in after you, she would be saying things. And it turns out that the whole thing is actually a birthday surprise, and there's only a few people here. I don't recognize some of them. Xavier is there, Enid is there because she's in on it, and, who else was there? I thought there was someone else I recognized. Ajax was there. Oh, and Thing is there, and Thing has a party hat on, which is the cutest thing ever. Literally the cutest thing ever. And I'm just like, who thought this was a good idea? Like, have any of you met this girl at all? And Wednesday is obviously not thrilled and blames Thing. I just don't want to see her yell at all these people who are there and happy and trying to be nice to her. I have a hard time watching stuff like that. And they made her a little Grim Reaper cake, and the Grim Reaper is holding a balloon. It was apparently designed by Xander, or Xavier. I keep thinking it was Xander. But, of course, Wednesday doesn't care and gets distracted by some Latin writing on the wall, which says the fire will rain thing. And when she touches it, first she reads it out loud, and Enid is like, that doesn't sound like a wish, and, obviously it is not a wish. And then Ajax makes a comment about, we're never going to eat that cake, are we? Which is a bummer. I bet they did eat that cake, though, because I know Wednesday didn't eat it. And as she touches the lettering, Wednesday has a vision and does this really freaky bend thing. I thought she was going to, like, break something. She encounters Goody, who is standing outside this kind of wrought iron gate, like, overgrown with stuff. And she tries to warn Wednesday about ending up alone. I don't fully trust Goody. Goody also says that, like, Crackstone will return and all that. Just being real ominous. And she encourages Wednesday to go to a spooky mansion, which I always am a fan of seeing a spooky mansion. I don't know what to make of her saying Wednesday should end up alone, or will end up alone, because it doesn't feel like that's actually going to happen, but, yeah. And then we just cut to Wednesday in her room, writing on her typewriter. I kind of wish they'd kind of followed up with the birthday thing directly. We do have Enid comment on it, and how, like, Wednesday basically just left. They didn't... Like, at most, she gets credit for pulling one over. And, Wednesday's apparently turning 16, so she was 15 before. Her parents had Thing hide a present for her, which is a taxidermy kit. And then Enid also gives Wednesday a present. This really touching music plays, which doesn't fit at all because it's Wednesday. And the present is some kind of shawl scarf thing that is called a snood, which sounds like something out of a Dr. Seuss movie. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw something like that in the Lorax. We have the mayor and the tiny mayor walk in with Headmistress Weems. And basically she knows that Lucas had a part in what happened at the dance. But the mayor insists that Lucas cannot be involved in the burning of the words onto the lawn because he was grounded. And you know grounded means there's absolutely no way he could have done it, because kids don't sneak out when they're grounded. And apparently what Morticia had said the last episode was indeed the headmistress' first name, which is apparently Larissa. Lucas has been sentenced to community service at the school, which a bunch of different problems like that. Like, first of all, why would you have him do community service at the school where he's done all these really horrible things? Like, I feel like this is going to end badly. And also, he's apparently the only one getting I was going to say customer service, getting community service. Like, what about the other two punks? You know? They don't get punished at all? And apparently, like, she calls him Noble, and I'm like, what the frick does Noble mean? Like, isn't his name Walker? Noble Walker? Walker Noble? I don't know. I don't believe either of those names. Wednesday is outside looking at the burn. It actually looks pretty cool, the aftermath of it. She talks with Xavier, and Wednesday is surprised, as surprised as Wednesday can be, that they're on speaking terms. And Xavier's like, well, I should have put your birthday. I thought of that would have been a big hint. But Wednesday is not happy. She's like, it doesn't mean I want to talk to you. And it's like, why are you mad? Like, what did he do to you? Like, he got mad at you, but, you know, kind of justified. You broke into his art studio twice, think he's a monster, and you asked him out to the dance as a cover, manipulating his feelings. That's pretty messed up. So nothing really comes of that, though. And we have Lucas, who is cleaning a window, and Bianca walks by and notices that he has a Morning Star bracelet, which was that cult from the previous episode, and Lucas continues to be still way too happy for what he did, especially since Bianca was one of the victims. And Lucas mentions how he was like, was he talking with his father? He was talking with someone at like the Weather Vane or a restaurant, and a woman overheard him and was like, oh, you should check out this app. And I guess the woman was supposed to be Gabriel, because it was kind of hinted that he just felt influenced, so that would fit with her. And Bianca advises him to delete the app, totally knows it was him that did the prank, and he's like kind of flirting with her, like suggesting they meet up at the Weather Vane later, and it's like, you can do better. Like, he doesn't even apologize to her. And it's like, again, the happiness really kind of ticks me off, given all the horrible stuff he's done. Like, I want you to actually express remorse by, like, saying you're sorry, not just being like, oh, nothing happened, la-di-da. But anyway. So, we have a Wednesday talking, I thought at therapy, talking about birthdays of the past and how she used to like them because her parents made them memorable. And they have like a really cool guillotine cake. I wouldn't want to eat it, but it looks cool. And they show her hitting a piñata with like all these other kids like screaming candy. And I'm not sure why these other kids are here. These types of kids seem like they would not show up for Wednesday's birthday. She hits the piñata and all these huge spiders come out, and it is horrifying and traumatizing. And then they show little Wednesday just not reacting as they crawl all over her. And I just want to know if those are real. Like, if that little girl actress actually let those things crawl all over her, like, I hope she gets a very good paycheck, because there's no amount of money you could offer me. None. And keep in mind, I am homeless as I am recording this. No amount of money you could give me to do that. Turns out Wednesday's not at therapy, by the way. She's at the hospital talking to Eugene. But the therapist does show up right after this, and I'm just like, what the frick are you doing here? And basically, she's been seeing Eugene's moms because they're upset about what's going on, and they had to go somewhere, so they asked her to look in on their son. But I'm kind of trying to figure out, where does the therapist fit in with this story? Like, what's her deal? Because, like, part of me did consider, like, maybe Thornhill is a red herring, and it will actually be the therapist that's the sister. I just can't imagine myself caring. Like, she's not a relevant enough character that I would be super stunned, you know? So, I don't know if that reveal could work. Honestly, I don't know how the reveal could work either way. Because it feels like they would just go with the obvious, you ruined my life by orphaning me type of deal. Although I'm not really sure who would be blamed for that. I mean, I guess we could see how the sister would tie it back to the outcast, but it just sounds like so boring and obvious, so... Who knows if they'll even address it at the end of this season. Which, double-edged sword, because if they address it too early and I don't care, it would suck, but if they draw it out, that could suck too. But, anyway. So, she overheard Wednesday talking about Goody and how Goody said she'd end up alone. And she's like, it sounds like this Goody person doesn't really know you. And Wednesday's like, you have no idea the things she knows. And it's like, you don't really know her either, Wednesday. You've never really interacted with this girl at all. Wednesday leaves. Therapist lady... What's the therapist's name? I don't even remember. Therapist lady goes over to Eugene, and they have this really weird focus on the flowers, and, like, the strange music is playing. Like, I expect something to happen with the flowers, but nothing does. The mayor... We're in the mayor's office. His, I guess, secretary comes in as he's looking at a death certificate for what appears to be Laurel Gates. And they talk briefly about how someone had reporting seeing lights on at the Gates mansion, which, gasp, might suggest that someone in the family is actually still alive. Cut to the weather vane. Wednesday gets a happy birthday coffee with really nice writing from Tyler. Of course, Wednesday is unappreciative. She is reading a book. I'm not sure why she's reading a book at the weather vane. Like, why couldn't she just do this on campus? Tyler asks her out on a date, but she is, as usual, unreceptive. She's reading some sort of pilgrim book. She shows Tyler the gate that she has drawn a picture of because she wants to find it. I'm surprised it's so hard to find this gate, because if you assume it's local, like, there's probably aren't that many super huge houses, right? Just look at all the big houses. But yeah, he has no idea. Sheriff shows up. Tyler goes to get him coffee, hurt that Wednesday is basically being unreceptive. And this town needs more cops. There's basically just two, like, cop and deputy. And the sheriff briefly talks with Wednesday, who again tries to convince him, you know, like, to basically listen to her and, like, oh, you don't have this grudge against my family anymore. That was really not much of a grudge since he let go of it in 2 seconds. But he still doesn't really want to work with her at all. And... Okay, so she goes to Xavier's little shed thingy where he's angrily painting. There's no lock this time. A thing is with her. And crawling around suspiciously. Still more monster drawings. Like, even if they're not new ones, it's like, why do you still have monster drawings after that one lashed out and attacked you? Like, that just seems like a bad idea. Thing discovers a painting of Wednesday, which he makes play. I'm just like, when did you see her playing? Like, I know you heard it, but I guess he just painted what he imagined it looking like. And they have what would have been a nice moment, but Wednesday just kind of leaves, still pushing people away. We get a surprising interaction between Tyler and Bianca, because Bianca is at the weather vane where Lucas had suggested they meet up later. Like, apparently she's going to talk to him. And Tyler reveals that the snood thing got left behind. So he's like, hey, can you return this to Wednesday? Also, this cafe is actually way bigger than we thought it was. At least than I thought it was. But Lucas shows up as Bianca is preparing to leave. Still not apologizing for anything, just being super happy. I'm not sure why she's bothering, really, to talk with him at all. Like, she thinks that they're similar, like, that people expect them to be a certain way, but Lucas has been that way. So, like... Yeah, like Bianca can be a little mean, but she's not as bad as Lucas. And Lucas reveals he did what he did at the dance because he was angry over his dad's humiliation with the statue thing, which really that was just Wednesday. I don't know why you're blaming everyone else. And so yeah, they have a moment. I don't know that I'm on board with this pairing, but yeah. I think we have the sheriff talking with Wednesday again. And, because as I have here, the comment where somebody says, ghosts do not kill the living. Because I think they end up talking about ghosts, and it's like, you know, ghosts totally do kill the living. And I believe this is the part where Wednesday ends up Oh yeah, because when Wednesday was with Xavier asking for his help, she shows him the picture of the gate, and he shows her the gate because he drew it. But yeah, so I don't know how I forgot about that. But she goes to the gate, and it's like, "Where's Thing?" Mare comes out. She goes and hides. Thing is suddenly on her shoulder, so Thing is there. I don't know why Thing is randomly on her shoulder for the scene. Thing doesn't actually do anything in this scene at all. And then again, we have the sheriff who the mayor is talking to on the phone, calling the mayor Noble. So apparently, Noble is his name in some way. But yeah, the mayor indicates that he has an idea who is behind all of this, and wants to meet up at the Weather Vane and have some pie and talk about it. Wednesday gets in the car, which is weird because I totally thought she was going to try and go in the house. But no, she gets in the car. And they stop at the Weather Vane. Mayor gets out, sees the sheriff in the window, goes to cross the street as Wednesday gets out of the car, and the mayor is run over, like just hit and run. It was really very sudden and actually pretty startling, like I was surprised. And the mayor survives this, but is hospitalized, survived it just barely. And apparently the sheriff saw Wednesday getting out of the mayor's car, so he wants to know what was up with that, and is officially questioning her about it. And she keeps trying to warn him, like, there's something going on, and, like, Crackstone is involved, but he doesn't believe in ghosts. But it's like, you believe in monsters, though, right? Like, yeah. And after Wednesday gets sent back to the school, the headmistress is angry because, yet another terrible thing has happened and you were involved. So she puts the school on lockdown. Wednesday returns to her room, and Thornhill visits her to give her a copy of Frankenstein. Wednesday, we get typewriter sounds. I like typewriter sounds. Wednesday makes it clear she is not going to give up, even though, as Thornhill puts it, you could get expelled. Although I don't know, like, what's the point of expelling Wednesday? If she's expelled, then she doesn't have to follow the school rules. Like, she doesn't have to leave town. She can still hang around and solve this at her own pace. So I'm not sure that actually makes sense. But she ends up lashing out at Thornhill, saying she doesn't need her support or whatever. And, still pushing people away, because despite her desire to learn from Goody, she has apparently learned nothing. She's at a payphone and calls Tyler, and I'm like, how the frick did you get to a payphone? I thought the school was on lockdown, but apparently the school has payphones. So she decides she is going to accept his date offer. And we see the sheriff hearing the tail end of this, and he's unhappy that Tyler is still hanging around Wednesday because he believes Wednesday will get Tyler hurt. And he's like, that's the kind of girl that will get you hurt. And Tyler's like, was that you talking about Mom? You think Mom was like that? And he walks up real close to his dad and, like, glares in his face, and it's a really weird scene. And the dad just leaves, but it's like, did you even love Mom at all? And he's like, more than you'll ever know. So Sheriff did love his wife, or so he says. And in her room, Wednesday is talking with Enid, and like, oh, I feel so bad for reacting this way about the birthday. We should go out and have a girls' night, and Enid totally falls for this somehow. It's obvious she's tricking her. And Enid says, oh, I'll pretend I'm going to finally woof out, and that I need you to lock me in the Lupin cages, which they apparently have Lupin cages. I kind of want to know what this is about. And I'm just like, this would work? Like, wouldn't the headmistress not allow Wednesday to do this because it's, like, obviously a trick? Tyler shows up, and Wednesday and Enid both get in the car wearing their matching snoods. Xavier tries to go talk to Wednesday through the window instead of the door like a normal person, and ends up finding Thing inside, typing at Wednesday's typewriter, I guess to trick people to thinking she is still in there, and demands to know where Wednesday is. And I'm like, is Xavier gonna show up and save the day? But yeah, so Tyler is made to drive them to the Gates mansion, which neither of them are happy about. They're unhappy that she tricked them, and she's like, this is what I would want to do for my birthday, not parties or dates. And they're like, well, you could have just told us instead of tricking us. But, I mean, to be fair, most people I don't think would agree to break into a place, especially when one of them is the sheriff's son. Wednesday goes into the garage and pulls the cover off the car, which is the same car that hit the mayor. She's leaving her prints on everything. Like, these kids are so freaking stupid. And Enid is like, we should call Tyler's father. which is sound advice, but it's like, no, he'll just take me back to Nevermore and I'll get expelled. So Wednesday's continuing to make questionable choices. And they go deeper into the mansion. They just leave the garage door open. Tyler is afraid. He's like, this is how I die. Tyler is also smart. They find a painting of the family, which is a nice pic. The little girl is blonde, which would kind of point more to the words of the therapist, but I still think it's Thornhill. But I swear that Wednesday calls her Willow when they said her name was Laurel earlier. I don't know. Did I mishear? There's a bookshelf, and of course the bookshelf is a secret door that leads to an altar with a giant picture of Crackstone. Wednesday goes in to investigate, which, I wouldn't do because you could get stuck in there. And there's some sayings on the wall written in red that says, like, blood will rain when I rise. It makes you wonder why they said fire on the school lawn. And then Wednesday suggests they split up, sending Tyler off to explore the bottom floor and exploring the top one with Enid. And they continue to leave traces. They're leaving the bookshelf door open. So, like, whoever is operating out of here will know people have been there. And then, on the upper floor, Wednesday suggests they split up even more. And again, this is really freaking stupid. And Enid is like, that's how every best friend dies in every horror film, right? Because again, Enid is smart. Everyone but Wednesday is smart in this. Enid suddenly calls out to Wednesday about 2 seconds later, like, oh, Wednesday, you need to see this. And it's like, you shouldn't be that loud when you're trying to sneak around in this house. There's a cute room, obviously meant to be the little girl's room. And again, they call her Laurel when they find a music box that says LG on it. But it's like, I thought you said her name as well. There's also a dollhouse in the room. I want to see the inside of the dollhouse. They suddenly hear Tyler freaking out and the sound of him being attacked. It's the monster! They take refuge in a dumbwaiter. Because, yeah, that makes sense. And the monster is able to, like, make a big claw mark through the dumbwaiter door. It's a big dumbwaiter. But it's like, why? Like, you could have just ripped the door off if it's that strong. But they are saved, sort of, when the rope breaks and they fall into the basement. No injuries. And no concern for Tyler. And they find all of the body parts that had been taken. Maybe this is some ritual to revive Crackstone. Weird ritual, though. A bunch of crashing sounds. Enid freaks out and runs. Wednesday takes a surprising time because she's investigating the jar. She doesn't take any or anything. I don't know why. Should have taken at least one. They manage to narrowly escape the monster. And they find Tyler, who has a scratch mark on his chest. A really, really little one in the upper corner. And it's like, this is one of those minor wounds that you see in crime dramas, where it's like, no, really, officer, it was a robber, and the robber attacked both of us. And, like, my wife was shot dead, but I have this little gunshot wound in my arm. Like, this is suspicious as heck, Tyler. And the sheriff walks in as they're treating Tyler's wound, and is understandably upset. They take the sheriff to the mansion where it's like, obviously everything is going to be gone, and it is. And it's like, Enid was right, you should have called him right away. You had the car that ran over the mayor. Like, seriously, these people are stupid. You could have at least investigated after you called him. But whatever. And I am kind of glad that the sheriff calls Wednesday out for putting her friends and Tyler in danger. Oh yeah, Xavier shows up and gives like a scarf to put on Tyler's wound. I'm not sure Xavier needed to be there. But yeah. And then so yeah, the sheriff calls Wednesday out and is like, you are not allowed to be near my son anymore. And Wednesday does go back for Tyler after her needed escape, but it's like, you could have been concerned considerably earlier. But yeah, so the sheriff calls her out. You're not allowed to be near my son anymore. But it's like, he works at the coffee shop. It's going to be kind of hard. He drops her off at Nevermore, where of course she is caught by the headmistress. And the headmistress also calls her out for putting them in danger and herself in danger. And Wednesday admits that the headmistress would have every reason to expel her, but she thinks it's a bad idea. And she shows the headmistress the drawing that she says Rowan left, but it was actually his mom. And I'm like, why are you showing this to her? Like, again, she could be a bad guy. And Wednesday expresses her belief that she is actually meant to save the school. Which I wonder. But we'll see. And she actually asks the headmistress to not expel her and says please, which is shocking for Wednesday. But it's like, I don't know why you're asking for another chance, because you're going to keep breaking the rules. You're you. And the headmistress agrees to not expel her, Xavier, or Enid, but is like, if you make one more, you break one more rule, and it's like she is expelled tomorrow, Wednesday returns to her room, where Enid is packing a huge orange duffel bag. Orange does not seem like her color. And it's like, you don't have to go anywhere, because she says she's going to stay in one of the other girls' rooms, and it's like, you don't have to, I managed to convince the headmistress not to punish us, and it's like, why would she be going to stay in someone else's room if the headmistress was going to expel them? Like, that doesn't even make sense. But Enid is understandably mad because Wednesday put them all in danger. And Wednesday's like, I apologized, it's over, and it's like, an apology doesn't end something, like, you still did something horrible. So she gets called out again. Enid and her is like, Enid's just like, I've been being your friend this whole time, and you've been doing all this, and you couldn't even bother to cut your birthday cake, and she just storms off. You're like, you want to be alone? Be alone. And Wednesday actually finds she doesn't like being alone. Where is Thing? Like, shouldn't Thing be here at this moment? What the frick is Thing doing? She apparently took the music box with her, but not any of the jars of body parts. But she took the music box, and a bunch of pictures fall out of the hidden compartment in the bottom, and it turns out to be pictures of Wednesday. So the villain has apparently been watching her. And then we cut to the mayor's hospital room, where it looks like he's really about to die, because we see a gloved hand pull a tube out of his little life machine thing, although that really shouldn't work, because aren't there like alarms that are supposed to go off? I don't know, I'm not convinced the mayor's gonna die. Anyway, Wednesday is in her room typing at her typewriter, and she says, to whomever is watching me, like, I will, like, stop you. So, is it us? Are we actually the killer? I mean, that would be an unexpected plot twist. So, this episode had a lot of interesting stuff happening in it. I am glad, though, that Wednesday is finally being called out for her behavior by more people. Still not really liking what they're trying to do with Lucas, but I continue to be curious where this goes. I'm already 27 minutes in. I keep forgetting I have a time limit. So I should probably end this part here. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!